Yes, good morning. I can see Nina. I can see somebody with the names in, I think, Arabic. Then I can see her worship. Then I can see Judith. Yes, good morning to you out there. It's a beautiful morning here. It's the morning daily call. My name is Gardner. Can I hear somebody say good morning so I can know I'm loud and clear out there? Yes, good morning, Nina. Good morning, Birunji. Good morning, Hawashi. Good morning. Somebody's number that ends with 008. There's another name in Arabic. Yes, it's 6 minutes past 5, past 6 actually. And remember, it is our daily morning talk. And today we are going to talk about something very interesting. We are going to zero down on our conversation onto the paradox of decision making. Yes, the paradox of decision making. How we can choose our boat of life. Yes, please unmute your microphones, please. Sorry, mute your microphones. Mute your microphones so that we don't have echoes back and forth. Okay. Good morning to you once again. And today we are going to talk about the paradox. The paradox. We are going to talk about the paradox of decision making. Remember, it is our daily morning call, and you can feel free to send us your insights. Go to our live chat on YouTube. It's the Gardner's Show, and put in your comments. And yeah, that's how you help us grow and become better. But today, we are talking about the paradox of decision making. Yes, I can see one person, the person who has names in Arabic. Can you please mute your mic? Yes, thank you. So I want us to imagine, I want you to imagine yourself, maybe you're standing at the edge, of a very, very vast ocean, if I may say. All right, no, let me bring it back to our scenarios. When we talk about decision making, for me, it takes me back to one of the famous songs that was done by one of the world's legendary musicians, who happens to be Lucky Dube. Lucky Dube, taught me the paradox of decision making. And it's so funny. Most of the life lessons are learned from places or from things that you least expect. And for me, as I've said, my biggest lesson in decision making didn't come from a leadership book. No, it did come from a TED talk. No, or a deep philosophical debate somewhere. It never came from there. It came from Lucky Dube's favorite song, which is One Love. Please, if you have not heard about it, get some time and listen to that song, One Love. It's a song that rhymes with decision making. And beyond decision making, when you listen to the rhythm or when you listen to the chorus, you will sing along with it and you'll master how decisions are made in this really simple song. And in the song, there are three things I picked from it. When you get time, please go out and listen to it. The first one, Lucky Dube sings that one love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. He says, one love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. Simple words, very simple words, right? But if you think about it, this is the first principle we talk about in decision making. Because we know that when it comes to decision making, no decision is made in isolation. There is that interconnectedness. There is that interconnectedness that we have to do. And in every choice we make, whether it's a professional choice, whether it is a career choice, whether it's a personal choice, whether it's a choice in politics, there is a ripple effect outwards that affects you and affects the people you are in charge of. Think about it for a moment. If you are the head of a company, or if you're a leader, or if you're running a small organization and you want to make decisions, that decision will not come as just a decision. It will come as a decision that is going to affect you, that is going to affect even the people in charge of. Because we know that we don't have small decisions. Decisions are decisions. Like what time you wake up will affect how you become productive. It will affect how you show up at work. It will affect the people around you. So, one love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right is a principle that brings the interconnectedness of who we are. The second principle I learned from Lucky Dube's song, One Love, is that there is a better way of solving conflicts. He repeats in the song, he says, let's get together and feel all right. Let's get together. This is not just about unity, it's about making choices that promote peace, that promote stability, rather than unnecessary conflict. Imagine yourself. Have you ever been in an argument where you know you were right, but you push away other people's points? And you know that if you let those points in, maybe those ideas in, they will ignite the conflict, they will escalate the tension in the room. That's what we call rationality over emotionality. You become rational in decision making rather than making decisions based on emotions. Often in time, we make permanent decisions on temporary issues or on temporary events. So when you are rational, that means you think through. It's what I normally tell or teach emotion intelligence. When you're intelligent with your emotions, that means you are rational. You're making decisions based on what is not based on your emotional state of being. And this cuts across even in decision making. We often get caught up in how we feel rather than what makes the most sense in what we are doing. The feeling takes the most sense of what you are doing. So, as a leader, you make decisions. Yes, you will. But are you making decisions purely on rationality or emotionality? The difference will determine the quality of decision you are making. And the final principle I learned from the song of Lucky Dube, um, One Love, it talks about us coming together, you know, us being united, unity in diversion. So whenever the decision is made, sorry, do you make it based on your own self-centeredness, or you make the decision based on collective effort? Because out of the collective effort, then you're able to make a decision that stands the test of time. Do you take time to listen to others? Because we know the best decisions come from multiple perspectives. Go out and read Nelson Mandela's Walk to Freedom. He articulates how his father always spoke last, listened, and made decisions after collectively listening to the other chiefs. Remember, he was a parish chief, head of the chiefs in that place. And for him, every time they went into a clan meeting or a parish meeting, he never spoke first. He listened, because your ability to listen gives you a wider perspective to come to a decision. And that is what Lucky Dube reminds us of. So, in a nutshell, decision making simply means thinking beyond yourself and knowing that every decision that you make will affect other people that are around you. The second from the song is that we need to stay rational. Don't let emotions cloud your judgment. And finally, Lucky Dube reminds us that we need to seek different perspectives. You don't have all the answers as a leader, but when you listen carefully, you will have the answers coming from the people you are in charge of. And that is what we want to cover today. That is what I want us to remember as we go on to listen to that song of Lucky Dube, One Love, One Heart. Let's get together and feel all right. So, I'll give you my own personal experience, and I'll ask you to move with me. I don't know. I want you to picture yourself. You get up early in the morning and you go to the Old Tax Park here in Kampala. As you enter the Old Tax Park, there are things that will take you by storm. First of all, the air there is puffy, like it's stuffy because it's dusty. You will feel there is that mental constraint that I normally get when I go to the tax park. And when you get there, you'll hear different people calling Entebbe, Mukono, Masaka, Bwaise, Kalerwe, Natete. The noise is so loud, everybody is calling. You listen to these public systems also making their own public announcements or making their own production. You are clouded with information. The place itself is crowded. It is noisy. It is full of possibilities. You have this person selling pancakes, selling peanuts, selling maize, selling cakes, selling water, selling soda. Very crowded. And for me, whenever I go to the tax park, that is a symbol or a symbol that represents decision making, a direction that you could take in life. Because some taxes are clean, some others are old, some others are new, some taxes are heading to different directions. And often in time, if you do not know, you'll stand there forever. You'll stand at the same point, but remember you have gone there to choose a taxi to get into and get you to your destination. And more or less our lives we live in today are more or less of that old tax park here in Kampala. Full of routes, full of choices, destinations, but no guarantee perfect ride. If you look at them, most of them are DMC. But honestly, if I'm to ask you, how many of us have ever felt like this in life every time we go to the old tax park? When we are afraid to decide, when we are afraid to make decisions, when we are afraid to make choices because we fear the results will come directly to us. So it takes us to questioning what exactly is decision making? Do we understand it? Do we understand the process? So when we talk about decision making is more or less like boarding a taxi. It requires three essential elements. One, the taxi itself. There should be a taxi itself. Each taxi has its own destination. It has its own driver, it has its own condition, it has its own conductor. So just as each decision has its influencing factors that have to do with information, that have to do with value, that have to do with trade-offs, the choice lies in your hands. You need to choose wisely because when you choose blindly, without checking where that taxi is heading, you might end up somewhere you don't intend to go. You may end up in Kalerwe, yet you're going to Entebbe. You end up in Mukono, yet you're going to Ntinda. You may end up to Kamocha, yet you're going to Bugolobi. So it is a choice, conscious choice. And this cuts across in our lives. When we are at university, when we are going to pursue certain courses, when you're going to do certain things, are you doing them with information? Many of us I come to a space where you ask students why they chose the course they are doing at university. They'll tell you, my parents wanted me to do it. They'll tell you, oh no, it's because I saw somebody doing it. The question is, do you know where you're going? Do you understand it? So if you don't understand, if you do not know, you're more or less like that person who's jumping on a taxi without asking where the taxi is going. The second ingredient I learned from the old tax park is the route, the process, the recipe. You don't just hope and hope for the best. No, you ask questions, you compare routes and decide which path works best for you. You analyze the situation before taking up the decision. Because each decision in life requires a process. And the process entails your ability to analyze, your ability to evaluate, and your ability to choose logically, rationally, rather than randomly or emotionally. And this has affected the way we arrive at decisions. At times you have not analyzed, at times you have not evaluated, at times you have not even rationalized. Is it that course you need to doing? Is it that career you want to take? Is it that entrepreneurship journey that you want to take? Everything requires a process, and that process requires you to analyze, to evaluate, and to choose logically rather than choosing randomly. And this is where we go wrong. Many of us never take that little time, the time to analyze, a time to compare routes. Yes, do I want to become this? What have they become? Or are there people that are doing what I want to do? How are they? Can I inquire from them so that I can analyze the situation then and what is and what shall be in future? So, as a student, as a career person, as you need to weigh the options. And finally, the third principle that I learned from the taxi park, old taxi park, is that in line with decision making, is that the ride has to take off. There should be an execution when you sit in that taxi, regardless of which one you've sat in, whether it is old, whether new, whether it has to go. It has to exit the taxi park. Even if you've taken the wrong route, you'll get to know as you're trying, as it's moving. Therefore, in decision making, we need to act. You need to move. You need to decide. And this is where many of us freeze. We plan, we overthink, but we hesitate to take off. And because we have hesitated, we don't reach our destinations. And you will never get to your destination if you never leave the park, if the driver does not ignite and set off. So you put these three lessons into play, you realize that actually it takes me to make the decision, but that decision has to be: one, I have to analyze the situation; two, I have to evaluate; three, I have to compare; four, I have to take off. And once I start taking off, then I learn along the day, or I learn along the way. Many of us never take off. We stay in that ideation state. We stay in that planning state. We stay in that overthinking state. We are hesitating, and that is procrastination, and procrastination never takes you to your intended destination. Therefore, you never decide. And there are also reasons as to why we never decide. Because often in time, the things that have hindered us from making the right decisions fall in three categories. One, many of us think that you need more information before deciding, and that causes procrastination. It causes you to overplan. It causes you to overthink. It causes you to hesitate. But it is not about the information or the facts that you have. If you sit in a taxi, you realize that at times they leave the park when they are half full. They work with what is available, and along the way, they keep picking people, they keep adding people. Are you able to take off and learn along the way, just as how the taxi leaves when it is half full, but knowing that along the way, it will get passengers? So don't wait for the perfect condition to start a business or apply for an idea or to apply and manifest that idea. Go on and learn along the way. The second misconception that has hindered us from making decisions is that we think quick decisions are always bad. No. Some choices require speed, some choices require you to sit back and rethink. If you hesitate too long, the taxi gets filled up and leaves you at the stage or leaves you in the park. So you need to take the opportunity. I normally go and see people waiting for maybe the back seat when it is full, the second last, then the third they enter. If there are these small vans, they'll wait for the back seat to get full, then they go into the middle. But they take that decision. You don't have to wait for too long. If you do, the taxi will be filled up and you'll be left behind. So timing is very important. So get to know, when am I supposed to make the decision? And the third misconception is that if I make the right decision, everything will go perfectly. No, it's not about perfection. We know, we have seen cars that have been bought on 0 mileage, but before even it hits 5 kilometers, it breaks down. And that doesn't mean that you chose wrongly. It means you must adapt and keep going. Adaptability, Bruce Lee says it and puts it right. You need to be like water when you're making a decision. Are you flexible? Are you able to listen to different opinions? Remember, we said it is divergence in unity, or unity in divergence. So it is not that every time you make a decision, everything will go wrong. No, at times things will go to the east. At times you go to the taxi park and take on that taxi. Little did you know, when they were calling for Kalerwe, they were going to Boise, and they'll stop you at Boise and get you another taxi to take you to Kalerwe. You see how it works? It has happened. That shows that not every decision is perfect. But are you flexible? If you're going to Mukono and you reach Boyegerere, Ochireka, they get another taxi and tell you jump on this one. Are you flexible to jump on it and pay the last taxi you take and get you to your destination? Flexibility is important. And that teaches us that good decisions aren't about perfection, but learning and adjusting along the way. So, how do we make the right decisions, or how do we make effective decisions in life and in our aspects, whether as leaders, whether as entrepreneurs, whether as students? So, there are three aspects on how we can arrive to effective decision making, or how we can make effective decisions. The first one is that you need to have clarity. You need to know your destination. When you go to the tax park, do you know where you are going? You can't just jump on a taxi knowing not knowing where you're going and saying, okay, I will arrive. No, you need to have the end in mind. And the end in mind helps you to decide to make right decisions now that will take you towards the end in mind. And that comes with clear values. Do you have goals? Do you have priorities? You may be going to Gulu, and there are three options. There is a bus, there is a shuttle, and there is a taxi. Which one are you going to take? Depending on time, comfortability, and distance. So you prioritize, you evaluate. And evaluation starts with clarity. So you need to learn how to choose. Is that the career you want to make? Is that the business you want to make? Is that the idea you want to manifest? Which one pays more? Which one yields more? Which one takes off more? Which one gives you the freedom? Therefore, your clarity determines what taxi fits your journey. The second ingredient for us to make effective decisions is that we need to choose with logic, rationality, rather than emotionality. Logic reasoning. Don't jump into the loudest or the most popular taxi. Think critically, because not everything that glitters is gold. We have had these incidences. You think you're in a perfect state only to find it's actually worse than you thought it to be. So you need to have the ability, the mindset of analyzing the risks. Check the driver. Are they drunk? Are they in the perfect conditions? And compare the routes. If you're going or taking a long journey, ask yourself the comfortability of the car. the mechanical condition of the car, because we can know from the face of it all. So choose rationally than depending on logic. Courage. Get in. And we never in our brains, because even though you have clarity, even though you have logic, fear can keep you standing on the stage. You're thinking, no, getting late. Why? You failed to take a decision. So therefore, when we talk about courage in decision making, courage absence of fear. No, fear is there, but the willingness to face your fear head on. It might be a new career path. It might be change of courses. It might be a new job. It might be a new relationship. Have that courage. But that courage comes from you analyzing, evaluating, and also being rational. And once we put these three into play, one, you will have control over everything you do. Whatever you choose, the direction you take, you are in control. You are the driver. Two, it builds confidence. Every time you make a decision, it gives you confidence to either deroute or reroute or make a better decision after what you have made. You cannot evaluate or you cannot change what you have not done. Learning along the way. Two, three, it gives us growth. Even wrong turns, even wrong decisions help us grow. As long as you are vulnerable, as long as you are willing, you have a growth and positive mindset. Will challenges come? Yes, on taxi. That will always come, and it's a guarantee. Choice will always be there. External pressure, friends, families shouting, take this one, take that one, conductors out there, blockers out there, you know them. Come, they're pulling your bag, they're pulling your shirts, they want you. So there is that external pressure. It will always be there before you make a decision. Then uncertainties, they'll be there. You can't see the whole journey before you start. But as you move, you're ticking off the box. Okay, if I'm going to Mukono, all right, I'm on Ginger Road. All right, I'm in Nakawa. Yes, I'm in Chambogo. I'm in Chireka. I'm in Bwegerere. I'm in Seta. I'm in Mukono. You're ticking off the box. So uncertainty will come your way. But you can't see the whole journey before you start. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that decision making is never about perfect certainty. No, don't wait for perfection. It's about having the courage, having the leap to move anyway, and the willingness to learn along the journey. So I want to remind us that life is a taxi park. You stand there forever, the park guarantees you nothing. Because every taxi will teach you somehow something new. Even if it's the wrong route, you will learn. Next time when you go there, you will know what to avoid. And I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that the worst decision, I repeat, the worst decision is no decision at all. The worst decision is no decision at all. Therefore, in our taxi park of life, you can't wait for the perfect ride. Choose your destination. Trust your decision and keep moving forward and have the willingness to learn. Why? Because the only true bad decision is never getting it at all. I repeat, the one of the worst decisions is never getting it at all. It is never deciding. It is never deciding. So you need to pull yourself up, align yourself, and be willing to take the leap of faith. But most importantly, be willing to learn along the way, because you can't see the destination when you start the journey. But the process and the willingness to learn will help you better up your decisions and better up all the things you have to do and have in life. If we put this in play, then we'll be able to make better decisions every time we want to, because the worst decision is no decision at all. Yes, so do we have any questions? Do we have any compliments? Remember, it is our daily morning call where we discuss different principles that will help us start our day. It happens every day, 6 a.m. to 7. Any question from our participants? Yes, I can see Nathan, I can see Birunji, I can see Hawaship, I can see Nina, I can see another number ending with 72, then 008. Yes. Any questions?